Afternoon, everybody or anyone watching this. Just a quick one today. Obviously, there's no game today. There was no game yesterday. No review to do as such. However, a lot of news outlets, Sky Sports, Talk Sport, etc., Sport Bible, Lad Bible, all the sort of online outlets have sort of come up with an idea, a suggestion that Newcastle United might be joining the race for Declan Rice come the summer. Obviously, this topic hasn't garnered the same sort of attention that we've seen the Jude Bellingham and Liverpool potential transfer, which has come out the last couple of days. Obviously, Liverpool are reportedly ending their interest in Jude Bellingham. Not going to get into that, but perhaps it may be more of a case of them just realising the reality of their situation in terms of being able to sign Bellingham. Now, excuse me, Declan Rice is a completely different kettle of fish. So just a quick video. Looking at his stats, he signed a 5-year contract in 2019, which expires this summer, so summer 2024, which means come the next transfer window, he's going to have 1 year remaining. Now, just looking at wages, not a massive issue, really, if you look at the framework of Newcastle United nowadays. He's only on about 60k a week. According to the research I've done, that might be wrong, but I've just looked at what it is, his transfer, how much he's making, his contract he's making a year, and then obviously divided that by 52. So we're looking at 60k a week. Last time Manchester United showed serious interest in Declan Rice, apparently West Ham wanted £120 million for their midfield player, which is, I think, a drastically inflated price. However, you can sort of understand why. That was a year ago. He had 2 years left on his long-term contract. But also, he's not only an integral player in their side, arguably their best player. He's their captain. Although he came through the Chelsea Academy, he is a homegrown. Well, I say came through the Chelsea Academy. He was in the Chelsea Academy once upon a time. He came through the famous West Ham Academy. I mean, you just look at some of the English names that have come through that academy in years gone by. The likes of Jermaine Defoe, Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, Michael Carrick, Rio Ferdinand, Anton Ferdinand. You know, I've probably forgotten 3 or 4. But they're the standout ones, you know, Frank, Rio, Jermaine, Joe Cole. So some top names. And West Ham's academy has been lauded alongside the top academies in the world for some, maybe not recently, but particularly in my early years of getting into football, sort of mid-noughties, you know, it was up there with, spoken about in the same breath as Manchester United's academy and Ajax's academy. So he is their top player, the best player, their captain, a leader, homegrown, etc. So 120 million quid on the face of it is massively inflated, but it's not so much what's the player worth to the team that they're potentially moving to or to the club that's trying to buy them, it's what they're worth to the club they're at the moment. So, for example, we take somebody like Bruno Guimaraes, who we signed for, 35 million quid-ish. Right now, if you wanted Bruno, we'd probably slap 100 million on him. You know, is he worth that much? Probably not. Is he worth that much to us? Yes. So, realistically, are we going to be in the running for him? Now, I've got a feeling, and it's been spoken about via various news outlets, that Newcastle are probably going to have a somewhat understated summer this summer. I don't think we're going to go out and do stupid Chelsea numbers. I don't think we're going to go out and spend, you know, 300 million on 3 or 4 players. Is centre midfield a priority? The performances of Bruno, Joelinton, Willock and Sean Longstaff would probably suggest not. I would say we're looking at probably in the wide areas as a priority, and maybe another young up-and-coming striker to take over, to challenge Isak in the years to come, and perhaps to take over from Callum Wilson. But are we realistically in the running? From the research I've done and from what I'm hearing, I don't think any of the big players in Europe haven't showed express interest in Declan Rice. You know, the likes of Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, etc. It's all about particularly for Real Madrid, who are the front runners right now. It's all about Jude Bellingham. Therefore, so we're looking at domestically, and I don't think, you look at the two guys, Declan Rice, he's what, 24 years older, but I believe. I think out of the two, Bellingham is more likely to move abroad. Probably most obvious reason is he's already abroad. So he's already shown that he's more than happy to move, you know, at such a young age, 16, from Birmingham onto Dortmund. So being adaptable, he's already been there, done that. So, you know, moving abroad is not going to be as big a challenge or as daunting a prospect as for him as it is for Declan Rice. I don't know if Rice has got any kids or anything. Are they going to be settled? Is his missus going to want to move? Yada, yada, yada. Obviously, at 16, Bellingham didn't have those problems. I'll say problems, didn't have those things to think about. So we're looking at domestically. Man City, from what I've heard, are more interested in Bellingham than they are Rice. So Manchester United, long-term admirers. Arsenal, looking more and more likely to be the ones, and obviously Chelsea. He was a Chelsea fan growing up. He was a Chelsea lad at the very, very beginning. Good friends with Mason Mount. Is that going to have an effect? Because Mason Mount looks like he's on the move. But yeah, so Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United are the most likely. In terms of uprooting his family life, as I've said again, these are all factors, logistics that you have to consider. Arsenal or Chelsea would be the most likely. I think one of my best friends is a West Ham fan. Obviously, he'll correct me on this, but from the way I see it, moving to Chelsea is a bigger deal from West Ham than it is moving to Arsenal. Although you've seen it in the past with Frank Lampard and Joe Cole. You know, moving to Tottenham from West Ham, I think, is a huge no-no. But moving to Chelsea is a frowned upon. But if Chelsea can stump up the money and pay over the odds for the greater good. Arsenal, particularly the way they're going at the minute, they are looking like they're going to win the league, although there's still a lot of games to be played. You know, could he be that midfield general that they perhaps need alongside the likes of Odegaard, what's his name, Xhaka and Thomas Partey? Who knows? But particularly if they win the league, I think they'll be the ones that he would be most likely to go to. Oh, come here, Danny. So, do the teams stack up to that? Obviously, I've got more chance of being in the Champions League than Chelsea have next season. He's never played in the Champions League. That could have an effect. That could play a part, but I don't think we're going to be able to stump up the 120 million. I don't think we're going to be willing. And I think the lure, let's be honest, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United are bigger clubs. We may overtake one or two of them in the years to come. We may be challenging for the same trophies that they are, but they are historically bigger teams. Obviously, Arsenal looking like they could win the Premier League this year. They've won the Premier League in the last, when did they last win it? 2003-04 season, I believe, was the invincible year. So they've won it in the last 20 years. Chelsea, when did they last win the league? I think it was 16-17 season. Manchester United, obviously, in 2013. We've never won the Premier League. So they would be probably more desirable. Again, logistics. It's a long way to travel. London to Newcastle. It's a long way for your family to go if you want to uproot them. It's a long way to commute if you don't. But what have we got in favour of us? The project, the good feel factor, the stadium, the fans, everything about this club is going in the right direction. So it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. If he is going to move this summer, my money will probably be on Arsenal or Chelsea, to be totally honest. I think Chelsea will be looking to have a big clear out. They've already shown they're not afraid to spend stupid money. And it would be a nice PR win for them to get one of their own back, so to speak. Arsenal, obviously it's still in London. He won't have to move. There'll be less backlash from the West Ham supporters. Let's be honest, wherever he goes, he's going to get some backlash because he's one of their academy graduates. He's their captain. But particularly if West Ham get relegated, which I hope they don't. But if they do, I think a lot of their fans won't hold it against him. Interesting. Are we in the race? Do you believe what's been said? Is it realistic that we're going to get him? Can we afford him? Do we need him? What do you think? Let me know. See you later. Thank you.